Computer management. Now if you look at your computer on the bottom left hand side, there is a magnifying glass, and if you do a search you will find your control panel. Now in control panel, any changes you make here you need to be fully aware because you're adjusting the computer settings. So don't make changes unless you're aware of what you are doing. Some of the aspects that we can look at is system and security, the network, when you're connecting to a network or the internet, if you're having issues, you can come here. You can view devices and printers. This is where you can remove a printer, you can add a printer. You can uninstall a program. You can create user accounts. We're going to focus on this. You can create user accounts, so there's more than one user on a computer. You can change the appearance and personalization of your desktop. That can also be done by right-clicking on your desktop and making some changes. There's also the clock to change your date and time. There's language and regional settings. And there's ease of access. Right, so for optimal visual display, there are options here. Now we're looking at setting up accounts. So user accounts, users are assigned their own profiles and what folders they have access to and what changes they can make to the settings of the computer. Now if there are 3 people using at home, you've got 3 users of one computer, it would be nice to have 3 separate accounts. So your files are stored separately and you work on your account only. Now the type of accounts you can have a standard user, you can have an administrator. Now standard users can use most software and change some system settings, but those that don't affect other users. So they can change settings related to their account only and not to the entire computer. The administrator has access to the entire computer and can make any changes. So your standard user is restricted, but your administrator has rights to the entire computer. Now when you're configuring your desktop, you can right click and you can make changes. You can change the resolution of your desktop and so on. Now your resolution, if you right click here, you have options here. There's it here, your screen resolution. Now if you change your resolution, resolution is how clear your screen is, your clarity. And a higher screen resolution means there are more pixels. Currently, I've lowered my screen resolution to do this presentation, so we have a smaller file. Lower screen resolution means less pixels, which means that the file that is saved will be smaller. Same with photographs. When you take photographs with a higher resolution, then you're going to use up more storage space. It's a clearer picture, but there are more pixels, it uses up more storage space. Again, you talk about the resolution of the monitor. There's also the refresh rate. Refresh rate will be to ensure that your image is clear, to refresh your pixels, the lighting of your pixels. So if the refresh rate is fast, then you'll have a good picture. There's also color depth that can be changed. In terms of security settings, we're looking at the computer firewall that comes with, in our case, Windows. It's software that allows you to control which programs can access the internet and tries to hide your computer from others out there. So the whole purpose of the firewall is to protect your computer. Now sometimes when you're using programs, you'll see a warning, or you're using your computer, there may be a warning that a certain software wants to access the internet and requires your permission. So your firewall is to protect your computer. In terms of ongoing maintenance of your computer, your desktop management means you remove seldom unused icons. Seldom or unused icons or seldomly used icons on your desktop and shortcuts, so your desktop is not cluttered. In terms of file and folder management, refine and maintain a folder structure. So if you have your information on your files in folders, it's easier for you to access. Your folder should have meaningful names, your files also meaningful names. Remember, your files are like a Microsoft Word document and your folder is the brown or yellow icon that you see on desktop. So your folder names need to be meaningful as well as your file names. You delete files that you no longer need. So that's cleaning up your computer, deleting files you no longer need. You need to empty your recycle bin. So files that have been deleted will go straight to the recycle bin, and you need to empty your recycle bin if you don't require those files. You move seldom used files into a compressed folder or file. So if you're not using some files, if you compress them, then you reduce the hard drive space being taken. Disk cleanup option available on your computer. That's to remove temporary internet files, remove deleted files from your recycle bin. This is all to increase the amount of hard drive space available. It deletes temporary window files and components of Windows that are not used, and it also remove or asks you to remove installed programs that you no longer or seldom use. So if there's programs you're not using, they need to be uninstalled. Backup. As ongoing maintenance, you need to back up. Now, original installation disks need to be backed up. Like for example, you bought an original game, you can back that up. Drivers, your operating system, you have the original, you can back that up. You need to do your general housekeeping activities. You need to work with the general housekeeping activities that needs to be done. You only back up files that were modified. When you're using the backup facility on your computer, the best way is to back up files that were modified since the last backup. So it's less files to back up. Instead of backing up your whole hard drive, just back up the recent files. Flash disks should not be used for backup. Right, you cannot use a flash disk for backup. The capacity is too small of flash disks, and it's more likely to get damaged. Right, why do we need to update? That's part of ongoing maintenance. You need to update software. Firstly, to add new features. For example, Windows. If you update Windows, then it means you're adding. There are new features in Windows that come up. They are included in your computer. Also, you update to fix bugs. Therefore, when you're updating Windows on antivirus, but generally with your programs to fix bugs that are after the software has been created, it's possible to find bugs, which means errors in your software, and the updates will fix the errors. Now you also need to update antivirus, for example, to deal with new threats that come out. There are always new threats, so you need to be updated. So the software that needs to be updated is your antivirus, anti-spyware, and your operating system. Firewalls do not have to be updated. Right, we'll talk about the rest in the next section.